Okay, so you guys have any kind of idea about Vastu? Where did where from where it came from, and like its history, or whether it is a superstition? Is it at all a shastra or a science? What do you think? So, anyone, like if you have some brief idea, or what is your like conception about Vastu? Anyone wants to highlight?
Sir, it can be science. It can be treated as science because it consists of directions.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Okay.
can be considered science.
Vastu is all about directions. Yeah, it's all about directions, right? So basically, if I talk about Vastu, like in simplest words, it is the science of direction that combines all the five elements of nature, like as it is defined in the shastras and all that. That it is the combination of all the five elements of nature and balances them with man and materials, like the impact of nature on human lives and all those things. So it has rules, formulas, and patterns for the construction of houses. It is believed to be to bring in harmony and aimed that towards drawing a positive, cosmic energy. You might have heard about these things, like Vastu is all about creating positive vibes, dragging or attracting all those positive energies and all those. And at the same time, wrong Vastu can also lead you to a negative, negative energy and all those kinds of spiritual things. So basically, the science behind this is that Vastu calculates rainfall, sunrise, sunsets to figure out the ideal way to construct a house. Basically, if you look at the origin, Vastu Shastra has its origin in the Sthapatya Veda, okay, and which is already a part of Atharva Veda. You might have heard about Atharva Veda. Under that, there is a part that is known as Sthapatya Veda, where these architectural things, construction related things, and Vastu, all these things are explained. In our Indian, I'm talking about the Indian Vastu and its history. So basically, if you see from that point of view, um, you might all be astonished to know that there were a lot of things, like in details how to construct those chart, what is that thing, mandir and all those things, how to construct a house, all those tiny details, like even from a foundation to a superstructure, all these things are detailedly like explained in Sthapatya Veda. It all comes under Veda. Is kind of like a book which consists of everything, each and everything you can ever think of, from starting from how to stitch to like how to construct a house. Everything is mentioned in Veda. So we already have Orithro with us, like we'll be having his sessions in the software part, and also he will be discussing dealing I'm thinking of arranging a special session with Orithro, because he has already studied this Veda, and the Sanskrit thing and all that. He translated and got the gist out of it, so he has a clear idea about these things, like what are the ancient architectural things, how the ancient the construction works, how they were executed and all that. I know that is not in today's world, those are like not really that much helpful maybe, but at the same time, you might have already noticed that there are certain things that the ancient structures that still exist today, and also in a good condition. So there must have been some reason and all those things. So that will come to the later part. But if you see in a general sense and look to Vastu, so a lot of people like dismiss Vastu as an archaic superstitions, but in actually it's architectural science put together by the forefathers for construction of houses in accordance with the best practices, purposes, and rules. So the early principles were drafted according to the sun, the sun path, sun rays, and their differing positions in different times of the day. like how the sun moves, how the light will affect, how it gonna affect the environment, the temperature of the your surrounding, the temperature surrounding the house, and all those things. So Vastu has also been mentioned in our ancient, uh, the sculptures and all that, and ancient scriptures like the Mahabharata and Ramayana. In those books, it is also, the Vastu is also mentioned there. So it has some kind of the historical background, but obviously the people who wrote these things or came up with this idea of Vastu, they had something in their mind which is also scientific. Okay, in those days it was not that much developed and all that, but still it has some values and still people are following it. So it depends, like a client, if he is concerned about Vastu, you must, like, you should have the knowledge of Vastu to like talk with him, to go into an argument. Maybe he or she has a wrong conception about Vastu. Okay, so at least you should know the correct way, and then come up with the best solution for him. So basically, it has been seen that when a fact or an opinion comes with scientific reason, there is no doubt about its veracity. So as Vastu does, the most important scientific logic stands by Vastu Shastra is that we are all traveling along with the world with our belongings toward the northeast direction, constantly at a speed of 1670 kilometer per hour. That is the speed of the revolution of Earth. So the division of the earth, construction of building, and so the uses of building shouldn't be against the motion. That is the science. That all these things are like, has some cosmic connections and all that. And I'll not like go into those brief, history and all that, but like in summary, I can tell you that Earth rotates inclining about 23.5 degree about its axis towards the northeast direction. You might already be knowing that, like, Earth is like tilted into 23.5 degree angle. So that is why, therefore the weight kept by us should not resist its movement. That is why it is said that you should keep your heavier furnitures and objects in particular direction of a house. That is the reason why you shouldn't keep them on the other direction, because it is like associated with the rotation of Earth, the positioning of Earth, everything. So this is why heavy weight should be kept in the southwest and lightweight objects should be kept in the northeast corner. And the southeast and northwest corner should be balanced with medium weighted objects. Okay. So this is the the origin, or the, you can say, the history and background of Vastu, like from where it came from. Is it at all science or something else? And this diagram you can see, this is also designed by Orithro. Basically, he has shown what are the elements that you should keep at different corners or directions of your house. So we'll be basically going into deep details of Vastu today, but at the same time also remember that uh, among all these thousands of factors that governs your planning and construction style, Vastu is just a single one. So it is nothing that you have to always be concerned about Vastu and this is everything. If you don't follow it, there would be a huge, those things. So don't worry about that. It is just one of the important things, obviously, and it is considered as important because there is no undo. If you are not following Vastu and the client is concerned about Vastu, and later he realizes that the planning was not done as per Vastu, then there is a problem because there is no undo, right? So that's why it's important. Other than that, there are so many important things, even more important factors than Vastu that you should consider. So today we'll be basically focusing on Vastu, and in the screen you can see here is a plan. I'll not say it is 100% as per Vastu, but like we have kept it, like tried to like accommodate all the things. Okay, this is a very small plan, 950, I think 850 square feet plan, basically a 2 BHK plan. And this is the line diagram, and this is the top view, you can say. And like anybody can guess like how this image is like What is the difference between these two images? Anyone can say? Like obviously you can say that this particular diagram, the first one, the line diagram has been drafted in AutoCAD or any CAD software, you can do it. But how did we came up with this plan? Anyone has any idea?
Lumi.
Photoshop.
Who said that?
Photoshop.
Yeah, it's Photoshop. So there are different things, like if you will, we can also carry out a session on Photoshop. This is completely done in Photoshop. No rendering, nothing. These are different elements put into Photoshop.
Elements are being placed, right?
Yeah, elements have been placed, and all those lights and shadows, all those has been created with Photoshop. And Photoshop also plays a big role in your architectural representation work. And I'll recommend you a YouTube channel, and also you should follow his page. There are so many you can follow, but there is a particular, if you are really interested in architectural representation things, the channel is Show It Better. Show It Better. He's an architect from Colombia. Basically, he has mastered this particular thing. So, and he actually teaches, not like you give him instruction and all that, but he actually teaches how to do this representation things and all that. So you must follow him if you are interested in architectural representation. So whatever, moving forward to basically I brought this plan just to give you a comparison of today, whatever we are gonna see. So coming to the first part, that is the main entrance of a house. So the main entrance of a house is one of the most important areas. So the location of main door determines the kind of energy it draws in. So doors facing southwest are to be avoided because the permit of entry of strong negative energies and all that. So basically northwest or west facing doors are not so bad, but the best position to keep the main entrance of your house should be northeast, either north or east, or you can consider the northeast corner. So if you want to know what is the science behind it, I have read it in an article, and Saurav helped me to come up with this. So he told me that if your house is north facing, then the harmful effect of UV rays is minimized at the places where the family members congregate. So similarly, if your house is east facing, then there is an added advantage of being exposed to the rays of the rising sun, you mean the morning sun, so which brings the nutrients and the vitamins, all those. So that is the science that people believe the reason behind keeping your main entrance in the northeast direction. So either north or east, or maybe the northeast corner. So there are options first option, second option, and in the same way. And you should keep that in mind, that either you can go for the first option, or always try for the first option, and if not possible, then go for the second or third, and always try to avoid the things that are mentioned in Vastu. And obviously if your client is not concerned about all these things, then don't ever bother about Vastu. Basically today's class we dedicated to Vastu, so that's why we are gonna talk about whatever you say, the science or superstitions, the myth or Shastra. So just bear up with that. Okay, so that is the place where you can put your main entrance. Then coming to the kitchen part. So basically the kitchen is an extremely important part of the house. So where the healthy and nutritious food for families prepared and cooked, and raw and uncooked food is transformed into delicious meals which provide energy to the family. So basically in Shastra it is mentioned that the element fire governs the direction of southeast. So this is the portion of the house ideal for locating your kitchen. So the concept of kitchen or placement of kitchen, the idea came from the the position of fire. In Shastras it is mentioned that the best part for the direction of Agni is southeast. So that is why this is the place where you should put your kitchen. Now someone can ask that we don't use ovens and all that. We use electric ovens, and we don't use gas burners. So what is the role of Agni and all that? So I'll again say that this is completely your choice. There is nothing to that much worry about this. Just these are rules, and also rules are meant to be broken. So that's all. And if you talk about what are the areas we should avoid. So if you are not getting a perfect place at the southeast corner, what can be your second option? The alternative then can be the northwest part, which can be also considered to construct your kitchen. But any other direction than that, you should avoid it, either southeast or northwest. And then coming to the bedroom, and now this has a lot of things. And also, yes, the science behind kitchen, right? It says that in earlier times when the cooking was done on open stoves outside the house, and combustible building materials were prone to catch fire. Okay, as the position of those fire, as it says there in the southeast corner, because of the wind flow and all those things, basically the combustible building materials like the wooden planks and all that, in people used to use those as a to like put a fire and all those things. So the cooking fire was preferred in the southeast corner or northwest corner, because where the hot summer wind blowing from the southwest to the northeast direction, that could not damage by carrying the sparks. So basically the wind flow was like observed to be flowing from southwest to northeast. You can understand this corner, from this corner to this corner, that was the flow of the wind basically. So that's why these are the corners left where you can you choose to build your kitchen, because that will not get that much disturbed by the airflow. And obviously from that concept it came up with this particular thing that kitchen should be built either in southeast or northwest direction. But at the same time, if you are talking in today's life, we have a closed wall and all those things, so there shouldn't be that much problem to construct your kitchen anywhere. But still people prefer these corners for kitchen. Okay, then coming to drawing room. Okay, so I think I need to just a second. I'll come back to drawing room. I think I skipped the bedroom part. Yeah, bedroom. So your bedroom is the space in the house where you spend the maximum amount of time in a day, because sleeping takes up approximately 1/3 of your life. If you calculate your sleep hours, just do this one like for your fun time. Like just calculate how much time. You can easily say it, like if you sleep 7 to 8 hours or 6 to 7 hours, that's almost 1/3 of your day. So obviously 1/3 of your life you spend sleeping. That means 1/3 of your life you'll be spending in your bedroom, right? So someone messaged. Pritika says it's a rendered image in Photoshop. No, Pritika, it's assembled in Photoshop, but it's not a rendered image. There is an option to render images from Photoshop, but this is not rendered one. This is simply just a JPG image. We kept all the floors and elements. I'll share the PSD file with you. I'll show it. Don't worry. Okay, so yeah, we're talking about bathroom, right? Sorry, bedroom. So this is the place where you spend 1/3 of your life. So this is the place where you spend most of your time, right? So, and also at the same time, it is the private place where you need to have some sound sleep to gain energy for your next day. So according to Vastu Shastra, bedroom shouldn't be in the central portion of your house. Okay, because the central portion of your house, that is also considered as the Brahma Sthan in Vastu terms and all that. So that attacks a lot of energy, which is not conducive to the main objective of the bedroom, providing rest, peace, and tranquility. So what is the what is it trying to say? That the center portion of your house is considered as the Brahmasthan, which is the main source of energy, and that should be utilized for different purposes, like to do activities, to think about something, and all those things. And but just keep bedroom aside from the central place, because bedroom is just meant to relax and to recharge yourself, to get back to your start an energetic day and all that. So the scientific reason that it is obvious that a bedroom in the center of house will be used for movement and accessing all the other rooms, and hence bedroom that requires privacy and quite cannot be placed here. So scientifically we can say that we cannot place the bedroom in the center, because the privacy of the room will be hampered from all the direction, obviously, because the center place is always the busiest place of your house. So, and there is also some special concerns about bedrooms, like the master bedroom should be in the southwest or in the south direction. Okay, we have provided the bedroom. Basically, this is a master, not a master bedroom basically, but a bedroom. So we provided this and in the southwest corner. So the reason is that the north is meant for the living room and entertaining guests. As you can see, we have provided a waiting room here in the northeast direction, and then hence a privacy space like bedroom should be located far from the front, and ideally that is the south. So basically, if you are providing a guest room or a waiting room in the northeast direction or in the north direction, so bedroom should be the farthest place. So that is why southwest can be a good option for your master bedroom. Okay, in the ancient times, the main wealth of inmates was agricultural produce, and this was stored in the granaries behind the house. The ideal location for these granaries was southwest corner, because the southwest heat and the southwest summer wind kept the produce dry and free from the moisture. So this basically comes from the concept of storing your crops and foods, all those things. So hence the master bedroom was preferred in the southwest, closer to the granaries, because you can keep an eye on those food elements. So this is like a guard room. You can rest in your room, and at the same time you can keep a check whether the foods are there or not. So that was the concept, how it evolved in today's days to keep your master bedroom in the southwest direction. And it is also advised that you should avoid bedrooms in the northeast corner, that meant for deities and prayers. Okay, your northeast corners, like in the waiting room as well, you can also place a small idol and all those things, because that is considered as the place where you can put some murtis and all that for the prayers and all that. So the scientific reason behind that, the northeast corner, which is engulfed with the early morning sunlight, is ideally suited, and hence reserved for a meditation room or puja room. So that is also the reason why you should keep a puja room in the northwest direction. And then if you talk about the children's bedroom, you can say the small rooms. So the children's bedroom should be in the east or west side. The scientific reason is that the west bedroom has the advantage of being bright and well lit in the evening due to the west sun rays. Hence, it is good location for children's bedroom, because they use a lot of time in the evening for their studies after school. Okay, and similarly, the east bedrooms have the advantage of being well lighted in the morning for their morning studies. So it depends. These are very small things. You can ask this to your clients also. Like if he is really concerned about these things, you can ask whether how your routine is gonna play a role in your life. Whether the most of the time your children's they studies in the morning or they studies in the evening, that depends. And according to that, you can place their rooms. So that sounds very much scientific or logical, and at the same time, it is also considered in Vastu. So somehow it connects, right? So Vastu is not superstition. And the guest bedroom should be in the northwest. As you can see here, we have provided another bedroom. So that should be in the northwest. This corner represents the Vayu or movement, which implies that guests who sleep in this bedroom will not stay for long and get going on their way. So this is just to like, like you are making an uncomfortable situation by providing anti-vastu to your guests. So that is the logic behind that. And scientific reason, if you ask, a bedroom in the north side is preferable for guests as it is closer to the living room and the front of the house at the same time. So it is away from the back of the house and the family members have their privacy. So if you closely observe whatever I'm like telling right now, you can understand that if this is the north obviously, and this is the west. So what happens, like it is being advised to keep the entry from the north direction, right? So the entry will be from the north direction. Your guest will have access to this place very quite easily. Then you'll be having a living area, and the backward portion, that means the south or southwest or southeast part of your house, that comes under the privacy section. So that is your private area. You keep things private more towards this section, and the upward section or upper half of the plan, which is towards the north, you keep those for the guests. So which is less private. I mean, they have easy access to the living room and all those things. So that is the logic, or you can say the reason behind providing all this stuff. So that is how you can relate these two things, right? Then if we talk about the drawing room, the living room or the drawing room is a room of gathering, right? The front room where guests are entertained once they enter the house, and also the room where members of family sit, like for discussions or like for spending time together. So this is a place of relaxation and positivity, and where the family makes some good memories, right? Because most of the time, when you are having a private time, you will be spending it in your bed, inside of your bedroom. But when you are having a gathering or some kind of discussions and all that, so obviously that will take place in this part of your house, that is the living room or the drawing room, you can say. So this particular place need to be like having a good amount of positivity and all those things, that vibe. So this is where, in a way, the living room is the heart of a home, and that is why it is preferred to be at the center of your house, because that is also considered as the Brahmastan, which, in according to Vastu, have the the most energetic portion of your house. And if your living room should always be in the east or in the north direction. So however, if you have a south facing house, right, then your living room can be in the southeast corner. And north direction, although, is more beneficial direction for a living room. And the scientific reason, if you talk, like we can say that it is best to have a big window opening on the north and east walls, as they allow constant north light and morning east light in the house. So ensure that the adequate amount of sunlight and air enters into your apartment or your house, and also that it has good cross ventilation option. So that is how you should also, your window and door placing also plays a big role behind Vastu. Okay, and apartments with east or north facing windows in drawing rooms are ideal as per the guidelines. So you need to think about all those things as well. So it is not only about direction, yes, direction, but the direction from where it came, the concept of Vastu, there is a bigger background behind that. And that is everything connected with the living style of people, the mindset of people, the privacy, their habit, and the effect of their work, everything, the lifestyle, obviously. And then talking about the dining room is a place where the family sits to eat. So obviously, they have their meals and like small chats and all those things. So the dinner table acts as a unifier, a place of community. Maybe the whole day our mom is busy, our dad is busy, you are also busy. But at this, there is a saying like the family who eats together stays together and all those things. So basically, the point of this that is the only time, the dinner time or maybe the lunch time. So the time when each of your family members gather at a particular place because of the dinner. So that should be a place, gathering place as well, and the place of community, you can say. So sharing a meal is an excuse to catch up and talk. Obviously, many of us like often do that. So one of the few times where family members are happy to put aside their work and take out time for out of their day to like talk with the family members. So that is why it is also important that the dining room is the space where your family and your guests make some good memories as well. So the dining room can be located in the west side or north or east. The best option is west. The dining room can be an independent room or in continuation with the kitchen. That is what we have provided. And in today's, like most of the cases we have space issues and all that. That's why we provide a common place where the kitchen and dining room is like connected in this way. And you can see, as this is very small plan, 850 square feet, so we have to accommodate the place like that. The kitchen, the dining and the living room, it is everything is a one place. So that is the thing. Okay, because we have like a shortage in spaces. So that's how you accommodate spaces. And the scientific reason, if you ask, any direction is suitable for dining room, provided that it is close to the kitchen, because that will be like more logical to keep your dining room aside the kitchen. And also at the same time, it has sufficient light and enough privacy from outside. Okay, so that you don't get disturbed and all that. But the light and air, these are the things basically clients are more concerned about, because we are talking about a lot of things in Vastu, but at the end of the day, like first concern is money, how will be the budget, and then the client which is concerned about is that even if talking about the interior elements of the room, they are always concerned about the sufficient amount of light and air. So your door and window placement, everything plays a big role in this. Then coming to the toilet and bathroom part, the first option for toilet or bathroom is the northwest or west part, but not in the corners. Okay, so if it is the attached bedroom, it should preferably be to the northwest side of the room. So maybe your room, for example, this is important. You can like you might also have been like facing issues, and many of the client have a misconception about that. They know the toilets should be in the northwest or west part. Now what happens if you have a bedroom here, for suppose example? So obviously if this is a master bedroom, you are providing a attached toilet, that will obviously be in the east side. I mean, it is already, the room is in the east part of the building. So what will you do? And here it says, and it is also mentioned in Vastu, so you can fight over your client regarding this particular concept, that it doesn't need to be, the bathroom doesn't need to be in the northwest part of the building. It should be northwest part of your room as well. So you can provide your bathroom in this place also. I'm not talking about this plan, but I'm talking about in general. So if you look from the whole plan point of view, your bathroom is actually in the east portion of the building. But if you consider the particular room, your bathroom is in the northwest corner of that particular room. So that way you can explain, or you can make understand your client. The scientific reason is that in India, the infrared rays of sun get projected on the west side, and so the west side is hotter, especially in the evenings. Therefore, bathroom placed in the west or northwest help to block the western sun radiations to the other part of the house. Obviously, because your bathroom will not be having bigger openings like doors and windows that you generally have in your bedrooms. So that is the reason it will be a blockage to those rays and all that. And also bathroom placed in the west or northwest help to, yeah, that is I already told. And also it like help to keep your that part of the building cool. And in addition, the hot west sun rays help to dry up the bathroom faster. That is a very fact and very important fact that that is to be like we should be aware of about that fact. And that is our concern, like the water leakage and all those things. So this helps, these positions help in that particular problem. Now coming to the part that, yeah, obviously if you are looking for alternative options for bathroom, the second best option for locating your toilet or bathroom is the northeast or the southwest quadrants, but not northeast or southwest corners. And let me clear you this thing. Like this is your north, this is your west. So it is being stated that the second best option for the locating your toilet or bathroom is the northeast or southwest quadrants. That means if you like divide this part into 9 quadrants like this, your bathroom can be in the northwest quadrant. That means in this particular quadrant, but not at the northwest, sorry, northeast corner. That means you can place your bathroom somewhere like here or here, like if the first option is not available for you, but not at the northwest corner, because that is already considered as the entry of the positive energies and all those things. That's why you can consider the northeast quadrant but not the northeast corner. Okay. And at the same time, you can also consider the southwest quadrant but not the southeast corner. Okay. And the scientific reason is that since most people use bathroom in the mornings, the beneficial of morning sunlight coming from the northeast side will be useful to the user. But the bathrooms in the southwest sides are also allowed as they help to block the western sun radiation to other part of the house and keeping the house relatively cool. So in addition to that, the hot west sun rays also help to dry up the bathroom faster. And avoid the bathroom in the corners, particularly northeast corner of the house and the center of the house. The scientific reason behind it is that northeast corner is to be avoided for toilet and bathroom placement. The direction of the wind all through the year is northeast to southwest. That is from this direction to this direction, or you can say the vice versa also. Okay, so that is the major, the path in India to the flow of the wind. So that is why if the toilet is placed in the northeast, so when the wind will be first entering to your house, that will come through the bathroom. So obviously you can understand what will be the circumstances of it. So that is why you should avoid placing your bathroom in the northeast corner. The corner of the house are the best positions for bedrooms or living rooms, since they have 2 external walls which allows cross ventilations. You can understand what I'm trying to say. Corners places generally have what? For example, this bedroom. This can have 2 exterior walls. That is why 2 windows can be built here. So this will provide a cross ventilation. So these are the ideal places to locate your bedrooms or master bedrooms. Or even you can provide like rest rooms, like I have provided the waiting room here. So that is the importance. So you shouldn't place the bathrooms in corner places like that. Like, are you guys like getting what I'm like telling? Do let me know. Like if you have any doubt, or like I'll provide you the PDF that Saurav has prepared from where I'm reading right now. So I haven't put so much of information in the slides because that looks very messy. That's why. Or else I'll share this PDF with you. Everything is written here, the scientific explanation and all that. So you can refer to this PDF as well. And then comes the puja room. In India, it is very important like to have a puja room in your house and to place it in a proper direction and proper place. I'm not talking about every caste and all that, but like the people who believes that there should be a puja room in your house, they are very much concerned about that. That's why. So the important thing to consider regarding a puja or prayer room is that it must be protected from negative energy, right? So once you have made a puja room or prayer room in your home, the room automatically starts to radiate positive energy. So however, if the puja room is left unprotected, the positive energy starts to weaken due to influence of negative energies, and that may be present to your home. So that is the reason you must make some tweaks so that to eliminate the negative energy and to bring more positive energy to your room. So that is the Vastu talk. And if you like consider the scientific reason why in big houses where space is available, the puja room can be uh, built in the center of the house as well, because that is also considered as the Brahmastan, the source of the energy and all those things. So the scientific reason behind it is that the central part of a large house should be kept open to allow for the proper flow of air or cross ventilation. Yeah, many of you also have noticed in some places that there are big openings in the center of the house, right? So that is the place for a huge light comes from that particular portion of building, and also it provides a very much cross ventilation wind flow. So it makes sense to have a puja room right in the middle or center of the house, because it can be seen from all the rooms and if the space is utilized. So you can have a the view from your eye, that if it is at the center, you can have a view of that particular puja room from all the directions of your house. And people are very much like they are very much like they care about the placement of puja room, at least. So it is important like for the sake of like satisfying the client, that's all. So in normal size room where the puja room, like where you have not have sufficient space, for taking my example, we don't have proper place to to provide a puja room in the center of that particular plan. So what can be done? The puja room should be in the northeast or northwest direction of your house. So as I said, that there can be a small idol or puja room kind of thing in this particular place. You can do that. And the scientific reason is same, that early at the dawn, the sun in the northeast part of the house. So these are the hours, ideal hours for yoga, meditation, and prayer, and all those things. That's why we can put it there. And like in apartments, it may not be possible always to like provide separate puja rooms for every positions. So if there is no space for puja room, the mandir can be placed in the northeast corner. Like if you are designing a apartment, you can provide a common place mandir, which will be at the northeast corner of that particular plot. You don't have to provide separate puja room for that. So you can basically utilize space more and more, because you'll be already providing a bigger place of prayer, right? So in that way, you can deal with that. And if we are talking about balconies and verandas, a balcony is basically a place where people sit, relax, to sunbath, to read newspaper, and to get a good morning sunlight and positive vibes to start their day. So it should be in the, obviously you can understand from these concerns that it is obviously should be constructed in the east or northeast part of the house. So they shouldn't be able, they should not be built in the south or west side of the main building. And the scientific reason is also same, that a balcony is a good place to sit and sit out and sunbath. So the ideal positions for this will be in the north, where there is constant useful sunlight, and the east where there is morning sunlight. That is why you should provide the balcony in the east or northeast part or in the north part of your house. And then talking about the veranda, So basically, what is the difference between balcony and veranda? Can anybody say that? Hello?
The very provided in the like ground floors, I guess, and balcony are provided in more in the like veranda in general. It is bigger than the balconies.
No, that is not a logical reason. Like veranda, balcony, you cannot like judge it by size and all that. Anyone else?
If not size, like verandas in general provided in the like ground floors, and it is balcony generally provided in the first floors. But after
Okay,
like
okay, okay.
not
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Verandas can be the central place of a house for
Yes.
helpful for cross ventilation.
Yeah, that is the main purpose of veranda, and that is the point where it separates a balcony from a veranda. Balcony, what can you say? I don't exactly know the proper definition, but what I understand, you can say that balcony is a extended portion, basically, which gives you a outlook of the exterior nature, you can say. So the major point where we can differentiate a balcony and a veranda is that a balcony is the exterior face of your house. Okay, a place which is a extended portion of your bedroom, you can consider, or maybe in your living space and anywhere else. It is something, a place which gives you access or a view about the the nature. If you are stepping into a balcony, you can see what are the things outside of your house. And obviously in some cases verandas also are used for the same purpose, but the major difference between veranda is that veranda can also be inside the house. If I like draw this, you can understand. Like, consider that there is no living room, just these bedrooms and all that, and this is the open place. That means it has open access to air and sunlight from the top. It is completely open. There is no roof above it. So this is the place where you will build your, the small mandir and all those stuffs. So basically, in this particular place, what will you have? Like, you will be having some kind of plinth height to certain extent. This will be kind of a walking or roaming space, because you have your rooms in all those extra other parts. So basically this will be the part where you will be walking, or maybe you will be sitting, you can understand, and it is completely under the open roof. So this is the place you can also consider it as a veranda, and it is not giving you any kind of, like, it is an interior thing, it is not an exterior portion of your house. And veranda can also be exterior, like you can provide a veranda here also. Yeah, that is also.
verandas can be provided in the interior parts, right?
Yeah, it can be in the inside of your house or outside of your house. Not outside, but the outside face of your house. Veranda is both, but balcony is never inside of your house. It is always something that you provide on the outside face of your house. That is the major difference. Maybe there is also some technical difference, but that is what I understand, at least. So if somebody disagrees, you can tell, like, there is no issue. That is how I differentiate a veranda and a balcony. Okay, so Arijit has some kind of doubt, like how it will be provided inside a room. I'll show you a picture tomorrow. You can easily understand. See, suppose there is a, how to like describe this to you. Consider this is a house. This is completely open. These are your rooms. This is entry, and this, all of these are rooms. Like, haven't you never like visited any places in village areas? People, 99% of the people who like built a house in village areas, they follow this kind of pattern. They have a huge house, and inside that they have a huge opening, a place where most of the sunlight, there is no roof above it. So this is completely open to the sky. Now I think you can understand. So if this is open to the sky, there are some portions where you can just only sit,
It's like
do your
like
activities and all that.
It's a kind of open area kind of like.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture tomorrow. You can understand it better way. So that is the main difference you can say between a veranda and a balcony. So
Like generally what veranda I have seen like is the homes are inside, right, and the paths are provided outside, and it's like grills are provided, and like air passes like circulated in like rectangular the portion you draw now.
yeah,
The inside it will be house, and then exterior parts will be like open, or like grills will be provided.
yeah. That is the thing you are talking about. This picture, I think, is something like this. This is a ground floor, basically. So this is the thing that basically the purpose of using that particular place separates it. The purpose of balcony and veranda is separate. In some cases it is same, but in most of the cases it is separated by each other. You can say veranda is a more accessible place to do general activities of your house. In I'm talking about the village areas and all that. And if you talk about balcony, this is just a place to sit, sunbath, and like chill and to get some fresh air and light. That's all. A veranda is not always to intended to sit and relax and all those things, whatever. So the veranda should be in the north or east part of the house. The reason is the same, that a veranda is a good place to sit and relax as well. So while sitting, it is useful to get exposed to the sun rays as the aid of the synthesis of vitamin D and improve the general well-being of a person. So the ideal position of this would be north, where there is constant sunlight, and the east, where there is morning sunlight, basically. So if you are constructing an open veranda kind of thing in the center of your house, obviously you'll be getting sunlight and air from the every direction. Sometimes people I've seen people like they also tell that the extended portion of your house which you provide in the ground floor, okay, maybe you keep a 4 feet or 5 feet passage, open space in front of your house in the entry side, that is they consider as a veranda, and the portion which they construct in the upper floors like the first floor, third floor, they consider that as balcony. But that is not properly true, because the size, I don't think that differentiated. The purpose differentiates. So whatever, we are not here to fight over veranda and balcony. It completely depends on the client's requirement. That should be your concern. And like if we talk about water tank, which I haven't shown in the picture right here. So the overhead water tank, the water from the the sump or the well or the borewell has to be pumped into the overhead water tank in order to be able to flow down into the house. So the overhead water tank should be in the west or southwest of the building. The reason is that the southwest corner should be the heaviest, as I told in the very beginning of today's session, that you should keep the heaviest or heavier object in the southwest corner to create a balance between the positive energy of the house. That is concerned with the rotation and inclination of earth, basically. So avoid the overhead tank in the northeast corner of the house. You can also cross check this thing. Whenever you like go out in the streets, just look at the buildings and the duplex or triplex building where you can see the tanks and all that, all those things. So just see whether they have placed the overhead water tank in the southwest direction or not. In 90% of the cases, you will find they will be like provided it in the southwest corner. They follow this thing very very much, because that will be like provided on the top of your building, so there is no such issues to provide. And then if you talk about the underground water tank, or you can say the the sewage pit and all those septic tank. So basically what happens that the municipal water pipe is connected to the sump, so hence this tank has to be close to the road, as the water lines run along the road. So usually it is located below the garage part of your house or the porch, but that completely depends on which side of the building the road is, because the place where you need to put your sump, that should be the closest from the municipality main pipeline. And if you consider, like, I don't think there is no need to like consider vastu for that. This should be completely like easy accessible, that's all. Still the vastu positioning is also written in the PDF, you can consider that, but the main concern should be how much easier it is to connect it with the main municipality pipeline. That should be your concern, and that is more practical. And talking about the staircase is it should be in the southwest or south or west direction. So south or west or southwest. And in the plan, as you can see, I have straight away like provided it in the north direction because there were no other option left. And we also convinced the client basically, and he agreed with that. So however, it is not advisable to build a staircase on the northeast side. So it is already mentioned that you should avoid the northeast corner, but we provided it in the north direction, and that was okay from the client. And your client should be the only concern, nothing else. And the reason is that the northeast corner of the house should be left open according to Vastu. That is the reason. And we have also provided it open. We have provided the waiting room here. So that's all. And avoid internal staircase in the corner of the houses. The reason, like if you are providing staircase outside of your building, like suppose this portion is empty, okay, like there is no waiting room, that is your building, so you can consider that this staircase is accessible from the outside directly. And if you're providing an internal staircase like I have provided here, which is not directly accessible from the outside, so in that case, what is the thing, that if an internal staircase is at the corner, the room from which it is accessed cannot be used properly. That means if I provide a staircase in this portion, suppose this is my staircase, I provided in this portion. So to access this, I have to again provide a passage, because you have to accommodate the landing slab on the floor above it. So these are the concerns. So basically a lot of space will be just wasted. That's why. So that's why similarly, if the staircase is in the center, it is lot of useful circulation space is also wasted. So your staircase shouldn't be at the corner and shouldn't be at the center of your house. Apart from that, you can place it anywhere. Like there is no such like a directional thing regarding the staircase, but the major concern about placing a staircase should be how you can utilize the space. And like depending on the space and utilization of space, your staircase design should also change. Because what happens, people generally, whenever they get a plan or sheet, they just take it, place the bedrooms, then place the kitchen, then they will place the staircase. And how they place, they just draw a rectangular box for the rough schematic diagram I'm talking about. So they just randomly place the staircase and in a box shape. But what I prefer in my consultancy firm, what I like always suggest them to do, that you accommodate all other things first and place the staircase at the last. And if it is not like feasible to place your staircase in a small portion, like if you are facing problem, it may be congested or not sufficient space is left, then do what? Just simply change the design of the staircase. Instead of making it simply, 2 flight, you can make it 3 flight like shown in the picture. You can make it a circular one. You can make it different. A lot of different styles are there. And I'll always suggest you to go for new designs, because people are like bored like seeing those same box shaped dogleg staircases. So like explore some new ideas and go for different staircase designs, and don't waste so much of space for staircase room. there should be some kind of like spacing, because that area should be well ventilated at the same time. But you should also understand that staircase is not a part where you spend most of the time of your life. Okay, that is just used for the purpose of reaching out to the floors. That's all. That you're not gonna sit there, you're not gonna cook there, anything else. So don't waste so much of your space behind the staircase. And if you have sufficient space available, then you can try anything else. Okay, then like if we are talking about study room, like if you want to provide a separate study room in your house, that should, the ideal place should be west part of the house, as it is believed that Mercury, which increases the brain power, I'm talking about the planets, Mercury, and also the Jupiter, which increases ambition and curiosity, Moon, which helps in generation of new thoughts and ideas, and Venus, which helps in growth of talent, have a better effect if the study room is in the west direction. So you can consider the study room or the children's room, it should be always in the west part of the building. So in my clients, in this case, there is no need of separate study room. So I placed in that way. And then if you are talking about the scientific reasons, room on the west side have the advantage of being well lighted and bright in the evenings due to evening sunrise, as I also told earlier. Hence, it is good for a location for study room, as the children can use it for the most of the time of the evenings when I'm coming back from school. Okay, and the next best option after west is the east or northeast direction, because the northeast corner is the best place for meditation and concentration. As I have already said, that for prayer is the best place. For the same reason, it can also be considered as a best fit for the study room. And then if we talk about the garage, in the picture you can see it is a separate garage, but in most of our cases we don't have a separate place for garage. We basically provided it in front of the portico or the veranda, or in most of the cases the garage and the, you know, the parking place and the portico is basically the same place. In most of the cases, because of shortage of places, they are connected. So the garage can be located in the northwest, or if you talk about the second option, it can be southeast. The scientific reason is that since the northeast and the southwest corners are allowed for the car porches, so that is why the remaining two corners, named, that is northwest and southeast, are acceptable. And you should always avoid a garage or a car porch in the southwest direction, because the master bedroom and other bedrooms are generally kept in the southwest corner, and a car porch should be avoided in this sector, as each time the car is started it can exhaust, it can create a lot of noise and all that. Even sometimes I myself like laugh when I read these explanations, but still there are rules, and rules are meant to be broken. So talking about the storerooms, the food or the storerooms are also called known as the pantry area basically. So it should be in the south portion of the building. The reason is that in the southeast corner you will already have your kitchen. So basically the storeroom, or if you are providing some kind of small room for storing your stuffs, it can be easily accessible and it will be convenient. And not only for the food, but also, and your food storeroom should be free from the dampness, which encourages growth of fungus and bacteria that can spoil the food stuff. That's why, since the sun is in the south portion of the house by the noon, so what is it is telling that if you also ma'am explained it on the other day, that your sun rises in the east, and in the morning the intensity is very low, and it travels this path from the south to the west. So basically in the noon time, when the sun is completely bright and have the most of majority of its intensity in the noon time, so you can easily understand that comes in the south direction. So when the sun is in the south direction, it is at basically the time of the midday, the noon, and the intensity is also high. So that will some way affect the your food storages and all that. So therefore it is ideal to have the food store room in the south direction. And the junk store room, like where you store your tools and different stuffs, so that can be located in the northwest or west direction. The scientific reason is that the west and the northwest portion of your house get heated up more than other direction because the hot afternoon sun. Okay, the hot afternoon sun and reflection of its infrared rays from the ground. So therefore, less used room like a storeroom can be placed here, as it will serve a buffer and prevent the rest of the house from getting heated up. Basically, it is telling that you shouldn't provide your the bedrooms in the northwest direction. But who is that? Okay. So that is how you can place your storerooms basically. Now talking about a very important part of your house, that is the placement of doors and windows. Okay. So for internal doors, ideally doors and windows should be placed opposite to each other or other way, so the both positive and negative cycles are completed. This is something from the Vastu concept. And the reason is that this is done to enable the proper flow of air, thus facilitating cross ventilation between the rooms. Cross ventilation is the one and only and major concept you should keep in your mind while placing the doors and windows. Okay, that should be the only consideration, that there should be proper sufficient space to allow the flow of the air. Any door should not be placed in the center of a wall. Why? Because it should ideally be far away from the center, while taking adequate care to not place in the extreme corner either. Okay. The reason is that it is best if any opening is not in the corner, as the cracks can form and some bearing is needed to support the lintel of the door of the opening. Door should be also be avoided in the middle of a wall, as structurally it is not very sound. So what it is stating that there is a scientific reason that if you place your doors in the very middle of your room, basically there is a lintel is provided, okay, above the doors and windows, if you know already. So what happens that if it is provided in the middle of the wall, basically on the both sides of the lintel, what will be there below the lintel? There is brick wall masonry wall, nothing else. So that is why you shouldn't provide in the very middle and also at the very corner, because if you provide it at the very corner, there is a chance that due to cracks in columns and all those, it can affect the lintel basically. So it is best that if any opening is not in the corners, as it can cracks can affect this, the bearings of the wind doors and all that. Basically, it will get displaced. Okay. And talking about windows, the windows should be opposite to the doors, so that both positive and negative cycles complete. Blah blah blah. Basically, they are talking about the cross ventilation, nothing more than that. And this is to allow the proper flow of air from room to room, thus facilitating cross ventilation between rooms. And if there is a presence of stagnant air in your premises, so what will happen? That having a insufficient flow of air within your house can promote the growth of development of harmful virus and bacteria. So sufficient amount of light should enter to your house. That should be your major concern as a architecture or as a civil engineer or as an interior home decorator, whatever you say. That should be your major concern, because you should always keep in mind that there should be sufficient light entering to the house and there should be a scope of cross ventilation. And if you like, the windows in the north wall and west wall should be more towards the northeast and should be long and wide. The reason is that so that the hot air, the constant and useful of morning light from the northeast can like penetrate to your house. And also one more very important thing is that you should avoid too many windows in the southwest direction. Now this is the last point. So who can tell that what is the reason behind that? as I have been talking about this like 2 or 3 times I have already talked.
Maximum heat.
Yeah, like the harmful hot infrared rays of the sunlight are projected maximum to the southwest direction, the south and the southwest direction. So that is why it is preferable that you should have less opening in the south or southwest direction, because in that way you can escape heat. So I think you already got a pretty good idea about what basically Vastu is and how it plays important role while positioning or orienting your different rooms. But at the end of the day, the everything comes down to the client. So if you are like, if your client is concerned about Vastu, you have to think about Vastu before than anything else, and also like accommodating all the facilities and all those things. Because maybe what happens, you are only concerned about Vastu and you placed everything as per Vastu, then you see you came to realize that your like staircase is very far from this place, or maybe your dining room is very far from the kitchen and all those things. So you need to first apply your common sense, then Vastu, then whether it is really important for the client or not, whether the client is really needing it. Maybe he or she doesn't need a study room, doesn't need a prayer, maybe he doesn't believe in all those prayers and stuff. So there is no like consideration of providing the prayer room and all those things. So you need to understand the client's criteria first. And if you like study Vastu, there is so many things, but this PDF that Saurabh prepared, it basically sums up all those things. So you can refer to this PDF. I will share it in the group, and yeah, it will help you like to plan your things. And many of you have already submitted the plans. So how many of you like cared about Vastu in that plan? Because there was no clause for Vastu. The client, the scenario, nobody like asked for Vastu. But still, if you have considered, that is good. And if you haven't considered, there is no problem. But you can like try. You can try and like sketch on your own, like with the same plan, how whether you have provided proper Vastu, whether you have followed or not. Maybe unknowingly you have already followed the Vastu, or maybe not. Or maybe you have positioned your room in such places where there was it was stated to strictly avoid that particular portion as per Vastu. So let's have a look at that, and ma'am will be like giving feedbacks on your plan, whatever you have drawn to in tomorrow's session. So we'll be ending this session today. If anyone is having some questions, you can ask. Hello. Like why everyone is so silent? I mean, like you guys are enjoying these classes. At least like show some response. Like if you are like feeling like not getting it, just say it. Don't. There is no issue. You can say it directly.
Actually, I want to according to the client, if the client requires the entrance of the living room, means the main entrance of means the entrance to the living room, the gate should be at the middle, then is it good, or we should consider as the we should consider it keeping aside?
Like you are talking about whether we can provide wait. You're talking about providing the entrance in this portion.
Yes, I'm saying that.
Yeah, you can do that. It is already as per Vastu, because you can choose the north direction or east direction, or you can choose the northeast direction. These are the three best options as per Vastu for your entrance of your house.
Actually, I want to know, as you said that the entrance gate should not be in the middle, but in the duplex building, uh, it's very beautiful, and architecturally it's very uh, attractive to keep the gate in the
Yeah,
middle.
yeah, yeah.
So
Definitely, definitely, you can do that. Obviously, that depends on the site because see what happens. Like if there is a road in the north direction, as per our the case we considered basically. So what will happen if the road is in this side? Obviously, you will not waste like you will not will to provide a passage or something kind of that because already this is a very small plan and there is a shortage of place. So you will be like accommodating. You will be wanting to provide the entrance in this way or maybe in this way. That will be the best place for you. So it depends on the road position as well. Because if you are having a road here, your parking will be somewhere like in this north direction already. If I extend this plan, maybe this is the road. Maybe this is the road. You are providing your car parking at this portion, so your entry will be from this side only. Yeah, at that time you can also place your entrance in this way from north. That will be very good. But you have to as well shift your staircase to other directions. You have to. So just think that one decision will change the entire plan, right? If you want to shift one element, others element will also get affected and shifted automatically. So that is the thing. You need to first understand that whether what is my major concern, whether it is vastu, whether it is facilities, because in 90% of the cases, the common facilities and vastu they contradict each other because vastu will be telling you to put this room in this place and will be seeing that that is practically like nonsense to put that room particular at that position because that will be of no use. You can understand what I'm trying to say. So you have to take decisions at that point, whether you want to rule out Vastu or you want to follow it. So that depends. And obviously, the thing you can provide a door in this place. That will aesthetically you can build some kind of veranda here, and you can provide some kind of gates. That will look pretty good. Any other questions? Or we'll end today's session. And yeah, one more thing, like maybe we'll be starting AutoCAD from tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So how many of you are having the software? How many of you are not having the software? Or we can also discuss this in the group actually. Okay. Because in that case, we'll provide you the software. Basically the student license. With your own student license, you have to activate it. And we can proceed with the software portion actually. Okay, so is there any particular place or direction for garden space according to Vastu Shastra? Genuinely speaking, like see, I don't think so. I have to look for it. But if in most of the cases, what happens, people either provides. It depends on the plot actually. I don't think there is a particular orientation for garden, but maybe there are some places where you shouldn't provide a garden. The reason is all same. The reason is the governance of sunlight. Because obviously we'll provide a garden where there will be plants, so that needs ample amount of sunlight, right? So maybe you can use garden in the southwest corner as well, which will be getting the most of the sunlight, and also at the same time you can also use garden in the north direction where generally the sun is not that much effective, but at the same time there are some plants like indoor plants and all those things which require less sunlight. Generally that those plants like they die in exposure of heavy sunlight. So in that case, it depends, like which portion of your house is basically having a sufficient amount of offset. See, suppose this is a good question actually. See, suppose this is my plot, the whole area. Okay. So I have suppose I have provided 4 feet offset from the boundary in all the direction. Okay. And in the front direction, I have like provided maybe 8 feet, just assuming. So in that case, what will be willing? Obviously, you will provide some kind of parking space, and along with that, you will provide a veranda, and the gardening and like a portico kind of thing. So basically, you can put chairs and a cozy place to just sit out. So basically, in that case, it will also add some aesthetic value to your house, because that will be the front portion of your house and you'll be having a garden. And in many of the cases, people also use the backyard or the lawn, you can say, the back portion of the house for the gardening purpose. Maybe you will be having a road in the front side, maybe a VZ road. So what happens if your site is located in a situation where there is a VZ road and your site is there, so front portion will obviously always be exposed to more dust and pollution. So in that case, your garden will be like destroyed. There is very few chance of like providing a garden and maintaining it. That will be very much difficult. So in that case, what people do, they provide gardens in the backyard, and that is also a good place. There is no such kind of vastu thing. Still, I'll look at it. Like if I get something regarding this vastu, I'll definitely tell you. I don't think there is proper something. I have to see regarding the gardening. There is something that is related to your sunlight and exposure that I already told. That will also play a big role in this particular case. But you can provide gardens in these places. Should we ask the customer during client meeting about vastu? Yeah, definitely. You should ask. I also asked in the first. I also told you in the first session. You should ask your customer whether he or she is considered about vastu or not. That is why I'm telling you all these things. Or else, what would be the point? Because there is no people, like nobody is that much fascinated about vastu. Just genuinely tell from your heart, if you are planning some building, will you be genuinely consider vastu? Like if nobody tells you to consider it, will you be like considering it from your heart? That depends actually.
Nobody gonna.
Yeah,
Nobody,
that is happens, but still people are concerned about it, so that's why you have to take care of it. So you have to ask your client, and in most of the cases they consider our vastu. But because they consider our vastu in the residential places, the residential projects will be handling with, in 99% of the cases they will be considered about vastu. They'll be very much concerned about vastu. But in the projects like the commercial projects, in those cases vastu doesn't play that much role. For example, if you are designing commercial building, some kind of factory and all those things, in that case vastu doesn't play such role, but still they also keep a check on those, placing the heavy elements in the different directions. But at the same time, when you are running a big factory, you have so much of heavy machineries, you don't like consider, you doesn't give a fuck about vastu. Like, sorry for the language, but that is it. You have to be like concerned about the production and productivity and all those things. You don't give a damn about vastu at that case. So that is the thing. It depends on the client, how he sees the thing. So basically, in the residential projects, you'll be dealing with vastu so much time, and that will be a like headache to you. That's why I'm teaching you it in the first place. And if you see in the flats, because in today's world, like people are having space issues, they are going like for purchasing flats, and villas and all that. And in villas, what happens? There is sufficient space available. So if you are looking for vastu in villas, obviously you will get, and you can easily accommodate all your facilities in that, because you have a plenty of spaces. And the flat, the commercial buildings, that is the exact opposite of villa. You don't have sufficient space, you cannot accommodate all the vastu considerations. All you need to do is how you can utilize space and fit all the things in a much smaller place. So in that case, people provide like common gathering place, common puja, I mean the mandir, common parking garage. People believe in the common concept in that case, common staircase, common lift. That's how people like accommodate the space. Okay, so if you are planning like for a 2 BHK flat, okay, if you are like designing a flat, you can easily accommodate 2 BHK facility. That means two bedroom, one hall, one kitchen. Within how much space do you need? 600 to 700 square feet. You can easily provide 2 king size bedrooms and a hall and kitchen, because you don't have to care about the puja room. You don't have to care about the staircase, because that is a flat. There will be common staircase, common puja room and all those things. You don't have to care about the passage, because that will come under the common area. But when you are going for a residential project, that is completely different. You have to accommodate all these different things into one place. That is the difference. Any more questions?
Sir, if we can have a lecture on Photoshop.
Yeah. Okay, sure. We can. Let me just note it. We can do a workshop on that actually one day. Like I'll tell you, it will be a 2 to 3 hour workshop. You will yourself do it. Like within the workshop itself, you will take out a small plan and do all these things. How to do it, we'll teach you, and you can do it. Because this workshop, this Photoshop thing is not included in this internship actually. But I'll show you it in the end, and if you are interested, we can go for a workshop, and we can see whether we can keep it free for you guys only. Maybe it will be chargeable for others who are not in the internship. We'll see that. I cannot tell you something at this moment, but we'll see that definitely. And there are a lot more things, not only Photoshop, but Photoshop, you can use it a vivid wide range. Like it has wide range of application in terms of architecture. Who people, I mean 4 or 5 people are there who are from architecture and interior design. I'll suggest you to, if you don't know Photoshop, just if you already, I assume that you already know AutoCAD and 3ds Max, SketchUps and all those whatever, the Revit and all those stuffs. I assume that, or at least you will learn. I know that, but the other things that people don't generally consider, you should learn Photoshop. You should learn Adobe Illustrator a little bit at least, Photoshop in depth, and Illustrator a little bit, and then Adobe XDesign, and also MS Excel. You cannot like if you will laugh if I tell you that you need to learn Excel to represent your drawings. You'll laugh, right? But I'll show you. It also has importance in architectural representation. Basically regarding the client dealing parts and all those things. It helps. So you need to learn those things. I'll also share the material with you. Don't worry. And okay, so we can end today's session, right? So thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.